the Loke domination. Green flag at the back. Get set, junior fans. 15 more minutes of racing for the BRSCC Fiesta Junior Championship, racing with MRF tyres. Is it going to be 4 from 4 for Joseph Loke, or can someone else dethrone him from the front of the field? Lights out, and we go racing immediately. Jake Weston goes across to cover Joseph Knight from the second row in the Schumacher-esque chop in that case. And what that's also done is Will Orton having to look in his mirrors to defend from Weston. It's allowed Joseph Loke to get through and hold on to the position pretty cleanly as they come through Copse Corner for the first time. Everyone appears to be through nice and clean. They're going to go side by side towards Beckett's for the first time, it seems. All 15 cars away cleanly. That's what we like to see. And now the sprint down towards the complex of Beckett's. It goes a little bit out of focus there, but we're going to hopefully refocus a second. So I can see on my CCTV cameras it's Joseph Loke that leads the way. There we go. So Joseph Loke leads the way out of the first few corners. Will Orton in second place. Weston's up to third. Dylan Hodgkin from 6th on the grid. He's up to 4th already. He was very quick in practice yesterday morning and got top time. And he had a little bit of had to pick his way up through the field and managed to pick up 6th position, but he was a bit on his own last time, so we'll wait and see. Albert Webster and the twos moving around towards trying to get past Joseph Knight. Jake Triggs has fallen back a little bit as well, and also we've got Bradley Beavers and Sid Smith going to battle, as are also Jensen Brickley and George Davis. Everyone looks fairly clean heading through. A little bit of side-by-side action through Brooklands. You've now got Jake Triggs on the outside of Albert Webster, who's hoping for a better race this one after he was a little bit sort of an unknown in that first race, but he's up towards the front a bit better this time by. He's going to be finished that first lap in about 5th position, but up to 2nd place in fact is Jake Weston, so up in front of Will Orton. End of the first lap then. Loke leads the way, Weston in 2nd place, Orton 3rd, Hodgkin up to 4th now, 5th is now Albert Webster, 6th is Joseph Knight from Beavers, Triggs, George Smith, then Brickley, so Sid Smith, Brickley, George Davis, Alex Lee, Alex Sprange, then it's Bryony Davis, then Mitch Marie. The top few cars at the end of the first lap separated by 8.4 seconds, so they head back down towards Brooklands for the second time.
Yeah, it was a hell of a first lap, and to be fair, it was Weston in the 45. He was actually trying to go around the outside into Brooklands of Orton. He got a really good run, and he was quite wide into Luffield, but fair play to Orton because he gave him the room as they went round the right-hander, and he managed to get it done. But Orton now, he's slipping down a little bit here because he's got Hodgkin all over him, side by side as they go down towards Brooklands. Hodgkin's going to be on the outside in the black and silver machine onto the brakes. Looks like he's got that done. They've just come into eye shot. There's nearly contact. We've also got Knight here having a little bit of a ding-dong as well, a bit of a wobble. That there was Beavers as well, I believe, just behind, trying to pick off that position. It looks like he's got that done on the exit of Luffield as well. It's never ending, honestly. These lot, they're absolutely on it. That was Triggs that was involved in that battle as well. You can see now how much the gap has opened up just ahead of these. They're 2x2, fully on Noah's Ark as they go down. Brickley's in the middle as well, thinking, is there a gap? Please let me have a gap. But it's probably safer for him than it doesn't. You can see them all moving around now, just trying to find any sort of clean air on circuit to try and change line. That's Beavers in the middle with Brickley. Oh! That was a big hit, but it was going to happen. He tried to close down the gap. He just wanted to get in. Oh, there's extra contact as well. There's a headlight assembly there.
I think that was George Davis hitting the back of whoever that was recovering. That's a real shame to see that sort of contact, but everyone looks to have survived pretty much, even though there's a little bit of damage, but they've carried on, so there's not too much dramatic stuff going on apart from that. So everyone will carry on as normal. It's not obviously what anyone loves to see without a bit of contact, but
oh, we've got a car going slow at Beckett's, actually. I'm thinking it's one of the cars involved in that. Maybe
possibly
broke the suspension or something.
Oh, it's George Davis, I'm afraid. George Davis had that engine problem in qualifying, and they managed to get it fixed overnight, thankfully, but unfortunately that was the contact that he had, I think, with the car that was coming back onto the road after the initial contact with Beavers and having made contact with there. So the leaders then make their way through. Hodgkin is up to 3rd place past Orton. It's Albert Webster still in, he's down to 6th position because he's been passed by Joseph Knight. So it's now 6th position for Knight, 7th place for Triggs, 8th place for Bradley Beavers, and then it's Brickley in 9th position and Smith in 10th. We'll get them to shake out a little bit. There might be a switch around in the order.
Yeah, I think Knight's made it up to 5th place actually on that with the little exchange there. But I think it might have been Knight that potentially. No, it was Brickley on the inside, wasn't it, that made the original contact. Here we go. We're going to have a look at it now. So you've got Brickley on the inside. Beavers is in the middle. He just tries to close down the gap and get it turned in and ready. Oh. He's very lucky that didn't give him a puncture or break the suspension. Yeah. And you'll see as well, just as the cars slow down a little bit, ready for the contact on the exit, there is the... Oh, it just goes flying through.
It was a separate incident. I think that was Jake Triggs that he clipped the back... That George Davis clipped the back of Jake Triggs. So it was a separate incident as everyone was trying to avoid what was going on. So it was kind of two incidents there going on at the same time, but it looks as though apart from unfortunately George Davis's car coming off worse from that one, everyone else is continuing on, which is the silver lining to all of that. We're now looking at this scrap that's going on here. So Joseph Knight is up to 5th position now, trying to keep Will Orton at bay. Will Orton not at the same pace he was running in race 1. He did say that he's making 1 or 2 mistakes in that first race, and he's sort of dropped back a little bit now that Dylan Hodgkins got through into 3rd place. So 5th place for Joseph Knight, 6th now for Albert Webster, 7th place for Sid Smith, and he's been chased down by Jensen Brickley, who is still surviving after that contact with Bradley Beavers.
It was the number 80 that he did hit. I've just had a look at it at the back of it as he's gone past, and there's a big hole in the right rear of it that's similarly shaped to the front left corner of a Fiesta Mark V. But yeah, it was just one of those moments. You know, he was trying to carry as much speed as he could through there, and just as he tried to get back over to the right hand side to avoid him, just clipped him with that left rear, and it's obviously broken something on the car, which is a real shame. But it's testament as well, the fact that Beaver's car is continuing, just how sturdy these little Fiestas are, isn't it? Because that could have easily been a broken suspension for either of them, and it's not. But look at this now, side by side, just trying to get the move done. Is he going to get it done though? He's thinking about it, but down the straight there's not really much of a difference between the two of them. This is Smith and Webster.
Smith has got the outside line. Webster's going to hold on to it, and Brickley going for another move inside in. Oh, Sid Smith saw him late there, and Brickley, I mean, kudos for him for trying the moves. It didn't quite work the first time with Beavers, but that time he almost scared Sid Smith out of the way in many cases in that side. I think it came steaming down the inside, and Sid went to go and turn in and thought, oh, crikey, there's another car on me inside.
Good awareness.
Yeah, very good awareness to Sid Smith there. He's a mini stocks racer like Jensen Brickley, so those two will know what kind of the world of mini stocks is. And also a fellow short oval graduate from junior hot rods is Albert Webster, so he's come up from junior hot. So all three of them have come up from short oval racing. 2 in one discipline and 1 on the other. So the majority come through from karting, but we have got some from the junior short oval world, which is great to see. But one thing I have to get used to, of course, is that in junior short oval racing they don't have gears, whereas they do do here, of course, in the junior racing here. Now Brickley here got a good run off of Copse Corner.
I've just seen there. Sorry, Webster just ran over the debris on the exit of Copse. There was obviously still that headlight assembly there, and I think, is it affecting that front left? He had a moment there as if it was, but I'm not sure. But he definitely hit that debris on the exit of Copse, and I'd be interested to see if that gives him a puncture, because it was quite a big piece of debris that he hit. Definitely ran directly over it with that front left, so I'll have to keep an eye on that and see whether it affects the car at all. But he's still fighting on. He's on the back of Brickley now, even looking down the inside. He's got the confidence to do it, nearly making contact. And Smith's going to be there thinking, oh no, what am I watching?
With Jake Trigger's getting back in, so I have to do one thing. You have to give credit to juniors. They're not scared at having a go for a move on it.
Oh, no.
Right? And again, all fairness to Jensen Brickley's move there, of course. Again, these guys are novices and they're learning on the fly. They're learning on each lap they run. So, of course, there's going to be a discussion about it afterwards in the steward's office. But that's to happen afterwards. Let's focus on the racing now in terms of what's going on here. And this great race that we've got with a battling back and forth with Webster going one way then the other as Brickley goes defensive on the run into Copse Corner. But Webster just about holding on to the rear end of Brickley's cars to go through. Just a reminder, it's still Joseph Loke that leads now by 2.3 seconds from Jake Weston, with Dylan Hodgkin on course for possibly a 3rd place finish here from Will Orton. Here are our leaders, and Weston isn't getting away from Dylan Hodgkin here. Looks as though that Loke has got the pace and everyone else so far out in front. So there could be a battle to bring for 2nd place if they all come back together between Weston, Hodgkin and Orton, and also improved pace from Cadwell for Joseph Knight. He possibly could be looking for a good result in 5th position there. Jensen Brickley, when they came across the line, was still in front in 6th, but they're side by side again in the background for 7th. And also we can see Jake Triggs in the 3rd of the race car consultants run cars there, and number 80, the Scotsman. He's possibly going to look up the inside of Sid Smith, which he does. Has a move, and there's a bit of a tap there from Webster as he tried to go back up the inside of Brickley on the cut back. Couldn't quite get it stuck. Going to try again here.
I've just noticed, sorry, in the number 80, after that contact, it knocked the right-hand side window out on the driver's door, if you'll notice. It's wobbling around a bit, because it's obviously just deformed the side of the car slightly as he's hit it that hard. But side by side, just in front, still Webster and Brickley. Webster just in front as they go down the straight, but, well, you know these a lot better than I do, Scott. I don't think it's going to stay that way, is it?
We've also got, it's a 5-car scrap now, because look just in the background there, the Trade Price Cars livery machine of Alex Lee's in there as well. He's at the moment in 10th position, so this is the battle in the second half of the top 10, from 6th down to 10th here as they come up through Copse Corner again. Look at that, you see the Trade Price Cars car in the background. Now for 2nd place, Jake Weston has been caught by Dylan Hodgkin here, exiting Beckett's, and Will Orton's not too far away. Again, not quite on the same pace he had in race 1 to keep up with Joseph Loke, but he is doing the best job he can. There is 5th position man Joseph Knight in the black and white car there, just the right shot, and then everyone else behind them in that pack for 6th position. It's great to see. And also I can see Bradley Beavers in the background recovering. He's just behind Alex Sprange, so Alex Sprange could possibly get an 11th place here for his first race weekend, which would be quite nice to see. And Bradley Beavers is still running, but in 12th, as Weston's, the rear end of that car, really being put under pressure here from a very feisty Dylan Hodge, who's trying to recover after a bit of a shaky qualifying. Got up to 6th in race 1. In the second race, he's on fire at the moment.
He's doing a great job, and Brickley's back ahead of Weston, by the way. Sorry, Webster. They've changed around once again as they've come through Luffield. There's your race leader, though. He is still in this race, is Loke, but he's just miles out in front. Weston now having to defend here from the number 50 of Hotchin. Interesting livery on that car, actually. I quite like that. The red line that follows all the bodywork all the way around. It's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, just behind them as well, they need to be careful about the fact that Willem Orton, no relation to Randy, is very much in the fight here. He's just sort of waiting, biding his time, isn't he, to see what happens ahead. Because when you're in these scraps, you know, I always say in motorsport you've got to be in it to win it, and it's just one of the phrases I carry with me. But in this situation with a battle, you don't necessarily need to be the one that's really forcing the issue if the cars in front are fighting as well, because they're doing the work for you to hold themselves back and make it a little bit easier. But as this race winds down, we've got 4.5 minutes left now. You might see Orton start to make a few moves here, because he's definitely got the pace to stay with them. It's just whether he actually makes something of it. This is the number 80 now, looking down the inside of Webster. He's still behind Brickley. These two have been absolutely phenomenal to watch. Look at that wheel cocking all the way around there. And look at that now. Webster takes a very wide line into Luffield to try and get the run on the exit, because he knows down towards Copse at turn 1 is the prime opportunity to do this. But the number 80, just behind him of Triggs, has also done a similar thing. He was a bit tighter on the way into Luffield, but he's still got a good run himself. And as they go down the straight then, just wondering whether he gets it done.
Just quickly look at them. I think there's an issue for Sid Smith, unfortunately, because his car's going to slow down the pit straight, and unfortunately he's pulling off onto the grass at Brooklands. We look back to our scrap for 2nd, 3rd and 4th, and they have closed up again now. So Weston, who got his first podium on his first race in the championship with 3rd place earlier on in race 1 this morning, he is now pushing on to try and resist from Dylan Hodgson, who got his first podium of the championship in the 2nd race at Cadwell. He got 3rd place, and he managed to take it away from Albert Webster, but with a great pass and to get himself through. So Joseph Knight's in a bit of no man's land there in 5th, but he is slowly closing up, but probably not close enough and quick enough to be able to trouble these 3 for 2nd place. The lead gap for Joseph Loke, by the way, is 3.8 seconds, and he's lapping at least 3/10 quicker than the cars around him, although the cars here are lapping pretty much on the same pace. So it's all this battle that's been going on initially, and the initial pace that he had in those first few laps got him that gap. But now that we've gone to a little bit later on in the race, and whether or not Joseph's used his tyres a bit more once again, like he did in race 1 when he talked to Bryn, he said after about lap 6 his tyres were starting to go off a little bit. Maybe he's done that again, and now everyone else is setting just about a similar lap time pace. Crossed the line that time by, though. I say that. Actually, his last lap was half a second slower than the cars behind him, so the gap has gone down to 3.3. So, but that said, they either have to really come off the cliff or, touch wood, have some kind of an incident or a mistake for these 3 to close back in again. But it looks as though that initially that effort to build that gap before his tyres, he predicted possibly started to go off, seems to be working at the moment to keep these 3 at bay, who, if they keep on battling amongst each other, they're not going to catch them as quickly as they might have done if they're all kind of working together to close up.
Yeah, definitely. I think that at the moment Loke just needs to just keep his head. He's done everything really well so far, and like you say, hasn't he won every race so far this season? He has indeed, yeah. But Hotchin doing a great job at putting the pressure on, but it's quite a wise performance by Hotchin at the moment, because as Weston goes a little bit deep into Brooklands, he's on 2 wheels around there, then catching the curb, flicking up a bit of dust. But as I was going to say though, Hotchin, he's not trying too hard to send it down the inside and make really sort of bold manoeuvres. He's just following along with Weston and waiting for the opportunity to come to him, and that's one of the main things. You don't often see it in juniors because, you know, these drivers, they're younger minds, they're a bit more aggressive, and they just think about the move. They don't think about the long run game all of the time. As you say, they are learning as they go every single lap here, but this is a very, very headstrong performance by Hotchin. And Weston as well defending well. We've got the number 80 of Triggs in the pit lane, I'm afraid.
Yeah,
that's a shame.
Jake Triggs in the pit lane, so unfortunately issues for him. I don't know if it's possibly a consequence of when he got hit from the rear by George Davis earlier on, I'm not sure, but Hopefully it's nothing too serious. He can get back out again. It's up the inside. Dylan Hodgson makes contact with West. He couldn't get it stopped. The pair of them go sideways and up the inside past both. Then goes Will Orton. That was almost a bit of a free pass there.
What was I saying?
I have to admit that was a little bit ambitious maybe from Dylan. I'm not. He camped the inside. That's at the same time. I think Jake was trying to take the corner. I didn't realise that Dylan was going to become steaming down the inside like that. But even so, it's in many cases given a free second place at the moment to Will Orton. And if Jake West is not careful, it might be third. And I think possibly that contact might have wounded Dylan Hodgson more than it did Jake Weston, because he's dropping back a little bit on the back straight, which is a shame. It
was definitely limping then, wasn't it? He's wide through Brooklands as well. He's actually indicating he's just gone off the circuit. I think it's broken something. Oh, he's actually had a moment. He's coming back on. He's spinning across Luffield. He's still on the grass on the inside, but something definitely broke on that car. He was really, really wide around Brooklands, which of course is a left-hander, and then suddenly the car straightened up. And as it got onto the grass, it just spun very quickly to the right, and he's now parked on the inside. So we've got double waved yellows there as we're on to the final lap of the race. But Loke is going to be one of the first cars on the scene there to see that. But luckily, like I said, out of the way. But it's a real shame that. But I nearly actually called him Randy Orton then. Orton still in second place though. He's going to be very happy with that. And as I was saying before, Scott, in it to win it. It happened in front of him, and look at this now from Knight. He's all over the back of Weston as Weston decides to take the Grand Prix loop, and this is almost looking like a podium here for Knight.
It possibly could be. It could be the same podium from race 1, or Joseph Knight, if he can pull off a move that works, is in with a chance of possibly snatching his first podium and his best result in the championship so far.
Watch Knight go to the left.
Oh no, he hasn't. Doesn't make the dive up the inside lane. He might try and go for the undercut if he forces Weston to go deep, but I think he's forcing him to go deep.
Double wave yellows though.
But he can't pass. Very good point. No, he can't pass because of Dylan Hodgson's car that's been off the road. I think that's the order that's going to stay in, but as they come up through the final couple of corners for the last time, it is going to be, it looks like third place for Jake West, another second place for Will Orton, but can you stop this boy from winning? Joseph Loke makes it 4 from 4 in the Fiesta Junior Championship for 2020. He takes a perfect score of 100 points from each race so far. Will Orton with 4 second places on the bounce now, his closest mix, and Jake Weston does pick up a second podium with third place, 4th for Joseph Knight. It's 5th for Jensen Brickley after all the antics that he was in, and 6th place for Alex Lee. Something I'm guessing must have happened at some point between Brickley and Webster, because Alex Lee's up to 6th now. 7th for Alex for Webster. It's 8th place for Bradley Beavers, and 9th place for Alex Sprains. He picks up a top 10 on his first result, which is fantastic.
Awesome.
And also, I think for Mitch Marie will come through in 10th. What a way to start his racing career. He picks up a top 10 too, so that's fantastic to see. He comes home in 11th place. And so I believe, given everything that went on, I believe he is the last finisher across the line, because, oh no, we've got Bryony Davis, forgive me. Bryony Davis is coming home in 12th. She picks up more points towards her championship total. Another race completed. Here's the replay. Oh, and I think Dylan maybe just misjudged the braking a little bit there, and it got both very, very sideways.
Orton was lucky actually there, wasn't he? Because obviously the front wheel drive nature of the cars, they both get on the power, and they suddenly flicked back to the left, and it just sort of cleared them out of the way for Orton, but there was nearly contact. I think if they would have carried on sliding that way, Orton was going around a little bit deep just to try and avoid that, but got away with it. And like you say, 4 wins for Loke, 4 second places for Orton.
Yep, Joseph Loke continues his run of his 100% winning record. 4 starts, 4 wins, and William Orton keeps up his 100% second place finishing order. 4 races, 4 second places. Jake Weston makes it a pair of podiums from Silverstone on his first weekend. Joseph Knight with his personal best result of 4th. Jensen Brickley had a pretty eventful race, but picks up 5th nonetheless. Alex Lee managed to pick his way through the action to get 6th position, ahead of Albert Webster in 7th place. 8th for Bradley Beavers after he got contact from Brickley at Copse Corner. 9th place for Alex Sprainge and Mitch Marie, 2 rookie drivers in their first ever weekends to get each to get a top 10. Credit where credit's due to be able to be there at the end. And then Bryony Davis, who comes home as the last finisher. Sadly, we lost Dylan Hodgson after the contact with Weston. Jake Triggs, I think, must have been a legacy of the contact with George Davis.
Yeah.
Sid Smith must have had some kind of a mechanical issue which dropped him back. I didn't see him make any contact with anyone. And then George Davis, sadly, I think, was an innocent bystander of, I think, Jake Triggs trying to avoid the first incident of Copse, and then unfortunately he hit the back of Jake Triggs' car, and that unfortunately sent him parking it up at Beckett's. So, admittedly, a little bit more action-packed, maybe not something that we quite have wanted from the Fiesta Juniors, but even so, nonetheless, these are rookie drivers. They are still learning their way through the championship and getting to grips with the car. And so let's see what the top 3 from that race thought. It's exactly the same top 3 for Bryn, so familiar ground. So let's see if we can have a chat with our 3 Fiesta Juniors down there with Bryn in the Parc Fermé.
Absolutely. Thanks very much there, gents. I shall do my best, I promise. They're over to the left-hand side. We can have a look at them while... Don't look at my ugly mug with a mask on. Look at these young lads of the future. They are going to be ripping up, I'm sure, for the future, for the next, I don't know, number of years, really, with Fiestas and who knows where. And Joseph Loke, we saw him 4 wins out of 4. I mean, this is just incredible. He just goes from strength to strength, doesn't he? We'll get a chat with him in just a few minutes. I'm also going to speak to Alex Spang, who is the driver of the meeting for the BRSCC. Going to speak to him about how he managed to get that particular award. But just need to get the drivers to come over. They are just getting their masks on, doing their hair. They are all teenagers. They want to look their very best at all times, obviously. Getting some fluids as well. Very, very hot inside those cars. I mean, outside in the shade, it's quite nice and cool. In the sunshine, you do cook a little bit. And so in those cars, you'll be getting very, very warm indeed. So let's get Joseph. Over. Joseph, can we grab a word with you very quickly? And he's going to go back for his photographs. Very important to get photographs of these two. But we'll get a quick word with him and concentrate on the other drivers as well. This is becoming quite a good habit for you, isn't it?
Yeah. Good race. I mean, it's a habit, but kind of. I'm sure it'll change. They'll catch me. There's no doubt about it. They're catching me already. From Cadwell, it was a 14-second gap in both races. Today, obviously, race 1 was only a second, and the other race was, I don't know what it was then, but yeah.
They're definitely getting nearer, but the crucial thing is they're not able to get near enough. I mean, a second is still a sizable chunk of distance out there, particularly on the Silverstone National Circuit.
Yeah, one of the least technical tracks we'll go to, but it's still a good track. It's nice for people to be a lot closer because as much as it is nice to win, it's better to have a good battle with everyone else. So I'd rather come second but know that I've fought all out than win but know that I've not had to do any racing.
Well, maybe next time ease off for a couple of laps, all right? That's just not going to happen, right? As much as he wants that, it's not going to happen. Well done, great win there for Joseph. So, he wants this more competitive racing and things, but he's not willing to ease off in any way. Typical racer. Let's go to our second place then. William, this was another really strong performance from you.
Yeah, on the outlap I realised the ABS wasn't working, so it was hard trying to drive around that. I was happy with the result.
But it's frustrating, isn't it? And you go out on track and you suddenly realise, because you have to put that problem to the back of your mind, because if that sits right at the very front of your thinking, it will ruin everything you do out on track.
I was just trying to focus on just giving it a little bit of break. I had to blip it when I was changing gears to stop the fronts locking, but overall a good race.
Well done. It's not been a bad day for you.
No.
You'll take it.
Yeah, thank you to the whole of Ali Rushforth Motorsport for the great setup and Cypher for their support this season.
Well done to you.
Thank you.
Not a bad day at all. Not a bad day in the office. Let's see if we can quickly grab Jake for a second. Jake coming in third, and another strong race. And when you saw how close they're getting near the very end, I'm sure he thought for a second he might have been able to grab second. Your thoughts there?
Yeah, it was a pretty good race. Everything just slipped into place other than the last 2 laps. So, yeah.
Yeah. What happened there? Was it tyres?
Well, no. I just got caught up because I was just pushing my own air. And Will and Dylan were pushing together to catch up to me, and then coming into Beckett's, Dylan thought there was a move there, and I was at the apex. So just one of those things, and racing's racing. So
Certainly is, and whatever happens, you'll learn from it no matter what.
Yeah, definitely. It's just it's my first race in a Fiesta, so it's just a massive learning curve. So
if I was you, I'd be pretty happy with today's work.
Yeah, 2/3, my first meeting. You can't be happier than that, to be fair. So
some people race for years and never get that, so well done to you. Onwards and upwards.
Thank you.
Well done there to Jake. Now I want to bring one more person in. This is a guy who has raced. Well, he's raced for this season, and he's self-funding. He's kind of working fully on his own, getting his budget together. He's learned so much over the course of the year, and he has been named by the BRSCC the driver of the meeting. George, well done to you, Alex. Sorry, that was a fantastic achievement for you, because your results out on track, they've been really impressive.
Yeah, it's been a journey. It's like I came into this weekend, the first time I've ever been in a car by myself, and I just worked up the pace and worked up the pace and worked up the pace. First result I wasn't overly happy with, but yeah, we just pushed on for race 2, and yeah, yeah, I'm really happy with the result. Yeah.
It's always a steep learning curve, and you're learning it on your own. So, little trophy there. Well done to you. And I mean, you must just be stoked with what's happened so far.
It's amazing. Yeah, I like two and a half months ago I couldn't drive, and now I'm at Silverstone winning Tyres to me, and it's a special moment. And I'd recommend like anyone that can do it, sign yourself up for Fiesta Juniors, and yeah, give it a go.
Great stuff, great testimony. Well done there to Alex. Brilliant trophy. Hold it up, just give us a cheer, give us a wave. There you go. The driver of the meeting. Well done there to Alex. Driver of the meeting for the BRSCC. Fiesta Juniors showing us again how good they are at racing. Self-funded, learning it all for himself and doing a brilliant, brilliant job. I can't get the names right, can I? But they can get it right out on track. That is for sure. So we've got more racing coming up. Back to Scott, back to Chaz, because we have for you more action from the BRSCC and the MX-5s.